This is lesson 12-5, distance, rate, and time. Our essential question, how are distance, rate, and time related? And this picture shows how we're going to use a formula to find our missing variable of distance, rate, or time. We have one vocab word, formula, a rule that uses symbols to relate quantities. Okay, here is the formula that we are going to use. D equals R times T. The D stands for distance, the R stands for the rate, and T stands for time. And we're going to use this to plug in our numbers and solve for all of our problems. So, using this formula, we're going to start with the D, which in this case, the distance is 7,794 miles, equals the rate, which we don't know the rate, so they're using a variable. They're using R, times T, and the time is 18 hours. Now you have to think back to topic 4 and how we solve problems when we have a variable over here. We have a variable and then we have a number next to it. So we have to do the opposite. We have a multiplication problem, so we have to divide because we want to get the R over here by itself. So we're going to be dividing by 18 on both sides. So on this side, it's going to cross itself out and we'll just have the R left. And on the other side, we're just simply going to divide. And when we do 7,794 divided by 18, we get 433. So, we have 433 miles per hour. And I got that right here next to the missing variable. Alright, using the same formula again. Starting with the D, which is distance, 576 miles, equals R, which is 80 miles per hour, times the time, which we don't know in this example, so they're using the variable T. So we always have to get the variable by itself. So we have to get T by itself. So we have to get rid of this 80 miles per hour. To do that, we do the opposite operation, the inverse. So we're going to be dividing by 80 on both sides. This crosses itself out, and we're left with T. And on the other side, we simply divide. And let's do the division up here. 576 divided by 80. Now 80 can't go into 5, so we put a 0. It can't go into 57, so we put a 0. And it goes into 576 7 times, which is 560. When we subtract, we get 16. Now 80 can't go into 16, so we have to add a decimal and bring it up, and a 0. Now 80 goes into 160 2 times evenly. So we get 7 2/10 as our answer. So it's 7 2/10 hours. And I got hours because it's up here next to my variable. Example number 3, we start with the D, which we don't know in this problem. Then we move on to the R, which is 8 miles per hour, times the T, which is 12 hours. Now, in this case, the variable is already over here by itself. There's no other numbers or letters next to it. So we just get to solve 8 times 12, which is 96. So we have D equals 96. So that becomes 96 miles. Example 4, again, start with the D, which is 96 feet, equals R, which is 32 feet per second, times T, which we don't know. So they're using the variable T. Now we have to get T by itself over here. So we have to do the inverse, the opposite, which is division. So we're dividing by 32. This crosses itself out, so we're just left with T on that side. And then 96 divided by 32 equals 3. So the answer becomes 3 seconds. And I got my seconds up here by my missing variable. Okay, so you're finding the missing variable using this formula for your 2 practice problems. Don't forget a word problem or a question, and rate your understanding.